What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Game Channel. I'm AJ Gels. Guys, how's it going? We're back once more with the weekly show. I'm doing this fairly early in the morning because hopefully I'll be able to get this uploaded by noon. As you can see, we got a lot of articles to cover, a lot of stuff to do. These are shorter articles than last week, so maybe this video will probably be down to an hour. But you know, I kind of got everything divided by divided kind of into article like blocks and subjects and whatnot with some YouTube videos. We got some trailers, some whatnot stuff that we'll take a look at, kind of break down the serious topics. Anything else other than that? Mostly IGN again this week. Again, I know that their app is super easy to use. I'm not paid by IGN. I am not anything like that. This is an honest, I guess you could call it a promo or an honest, but seriously, I like their app with the save article feature, all that stuff. So I use that for a lot of my aggregation. Excuse me. Next week I'll really try and do better and use Twitter more and try and diversify the outlets we use. But this week, mostly from IGN, we do have one GameSpot article in there, and it's an interesting story, but we'll get into that a little bit later. I'll get into the announcements at the end of the show, kind of like last week, just so we can try and hop into all the important stuff. Other than that, my usual, please go and support these sites and everything. They do the hard work. I'm just sitting here reading and providing opinions. These are the people that actually do the reporting and whatnot. Please go support these outlets. I will provide links to every article down in the description below. There will also be a timestamp, about within a couple seconds of when each topic starts, and you can go check that out, like I said, down in. So now, actually, into our first story. Hirai is stepping down as Sony CEO, as the title of this video, I guess you want to say. If you want to say I was maybe a little too, I don't know, I like to make my video titles puns. Whatever, you tell me if I succeeded or not. Article Joe Screbbles, IGN. Hirai will step down as Sony CEO after a successful 6-year reign. The move was proposed by Hirai himself, who will take on a new role as chairman. It follows the departure of PlayStation CEO Andrew House last October. During his time as CEO, Hirai instituted the One Sony strategy, which saw the company sell off its ViiU, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, laptop business, revamp its TV business, and prioritize its gaming division. The PlayStation business has been credited with revitalizing Sony's business, with huge hardware sales, driving increasing profits. That's a little odd wordage, for the company as a whole. And I quote, "Ever since my appointment as president and CEO in April 2012, Hirai said in a statement, I have stated that my mission is to ensure Sony continues to be a company that provides customers with condo to move them emotionally and inspires and fulfills their curiosity. To this end, I have dedicated myself to transforming the company and enhancing its profitability, and am very proud that now, in the third and final year of our current mid-range corporate plan, we are expecting to exceed our financial targets, and it excites me to hear more and more people enthused that Sony is back again." End quote. From April 1st, current Sony CFO Kenichiro Yoshida will take on the role. Overall, I think this is kind of like when Andrew House stepped down as PlayStation CEO, barring some just some sort of odd thing that happens. I don't think this is the end of Sony, that Sony's going to take a complete left turn. I don't want to say that, companies that are this big just kind of run themselves. No, but I think it's with how profitable Sony has been up to this point, they have to start making some really, really bad, like, drastic decisions, which I don't think will happen. I mean, especially because I think Hirai's not actually leaving. I think, like I said, he's taking on a new role within the company. So I guess he's not retiring, but he's stepping down as CEO, and Yoshida's taking up. And I mean, it's a CFO to CEO. So all in all, I don't think this is a massive. How to put this? I don't think this is a massive deal, as in the point that Sony is going to drastically change. I think this is a big deal in the sense that Hirai is a big name in Sony. I mean, he's been a big name in Sony for a long time, and he's leaving that position, especially with what has happened to Sony under Hirai's leadership, which actually kind of helps us segue into our next article, which is, if everything will load, I got so much damn stuff open. PlayStation hardware sales drop while software sales soar. Article once more, Joe Screbbles, IGN. The article reads, PlayStation 4 hardware sales dropped year on year in quarter 3 2017, but software sales more than made up for the decline. Announced in Sony's latest earnings report, the games division as a whole earned 718 billion yen, that's 6.5 billion US dollars, and a 16.2% rise that led to 85.4 billion yen, $778 million in profit, a 50% increase on last year. Software made up 300.4 billion, 2.7 billion dollars of that number, making a 71% rise on last year. Hardware sales dropped from 9.7 million to 9 million, resulting in 270.6 billion yen, which is about $2.5 billion in revenue. Sony as a whole has had a good quarter, earning 2.7 trillion yen to 25.5 billion US dollars in revenue, at 11.5% increase, but turning that into an enormous 1,407% rise in net profit year on year. The biggest news from Sony's earning event, however, came as Kaz Hirai announced he'd stepped down after 6 years stint in charge. All right, so that's a lot of statistics to bring in. Again, you can go check this article down in the description. All in all, basically what all this is saying, it took me a second. I mean, pretty much it's the headline says it all, is that hardware sales are starting to drop, which is not surprising. I mean, so the PlayStation 4 has been selling amazingly. I'm surprised that hardware sales haven't really started to drop by now. I think PlayStation 4 is like, oh my God, where is it right now in the top? I think it's somewhere in the top 10 right now. I think in greatest consoles ever sold. I'm not sure exactly where it sits. I think it's somewhere in the middle. I think it's around 5th or 6th. I could be wrong. Somebody feel free to put in the comments the exact position it sits at right now. But I'm surprised that the PlayStation 4 hasn't already, like, their sales haven't dropped more than it already has. But with all the people that own PlayStations, and Sony has been really upping its game with its exclusives and its content and everything, it doesn't surprise me that software sales more than make up for the decrease in console sales. So, moving on to our kind of our final thing in this first block. If the page will load, we got a video coming attractions for PlayStation 4. This kind of short minute and a half video. If we can pull up full screen from PlayStation Europe, let's check this out. Kind of end off our first block. What the fuck? There we go.
Here's a chance. Show me already.
I got this.
Where's our money?
Virtual reality game.
Again, you remember?
Cute little critters, aren't they? For the players.
All right, obviously all of those weren't exclusives, but I mean that was a lot of really, really cool stuff that's coming up. Actually, kind of funny to me that they're actually mentioning Red Dead Redemption 2. We'll actually be talking about that. Anybody who's been probably following the news knows exactly what I'm going to say and knows what's funny in there. But I mean, come on. I mean, we saw Spider-Man, God of War, Ghost of Tsushima. There are some cool VR titles set to come out. Days Gone, Last of Us Part 2. Granted, Last of Us Part 2, I still stand by it. I'd be surprised if we see it before fall of 2019, but my guess is Last of Us Part 2 we're going to see in somewhere in 2020. And I'd hope we're going to see Days Gone by the end of this year, but maybe we'll see it early 2019. Like I said, I mean, you already mentioned Spider-Man, God of War. We got Far Cry 5 coming up. And, Sony's really trying to partner itself up. I mean, because, like I said, we saw Far Cry 5. We saw Call of Duty WW2. We saw, what was another game? Come on, Brian. We saw Call of Duty. We saw Far Cry. There was another game. I can't remember what it was. It was another that wasn't. It isn't an exclusive, but still, I think Sony's trying to partner itself with games that maybe aren't exclusives, but maybe get some exclusive DLC for it, or maybe get something that other. Excuse me. That other. That like Xbox isn't going to get. It's kind of like what they did with Assassin's Creed Unity. What they tried to do. They did it with Syndicate. Or no, wait, did Unity pair with the Xbox One? No, I'm pretty sure Unity paired with the PlayStation 4. I don't know. Correct me on that. But either way, that's that right there. I mean, I think that video enough can tell you that all three of these articles kind of play together. That Sony, even if Kazurai is going to step down, Sony's going to be just fine. And honestly, I think this year is going to kick so much ass. I mean, what? World's best-selling console, 2014, 15, 16, and 17? Jesus Christ. All right, guys, that's going to about do it for the end of the first block. I'm going to get up. I know we've really just started, but this was the shortest block. I just kind of like to stand up, stretch my legs in the middle of these. All right, guys, on to the second chunk of articles we got here. Starting with something that makes me just smile, that Battlefront 2 misses sales expectations. Microtransactions will return in the next few months. Article Hope Corrigan, IGN. Okay, just off the headline here. Starts off with something bad for the game, and then the company decides, hey, you want to know what might save this? Let's bring in something that almost universally gamers hate. I don't necessarily, me personally, I don't necessarily hate microtransactions. I hate them in certain aspects, you know. That's or it's one of those that I don't hate them. I just a lot of times won't buy them. If that makes sense. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm making faces into a. I don't even have a camera that you're looking that's recording my face. I don't know why I'm making faces. Moving on. Article reads. After a controversial release, Star Wars Battlefront 2 has fallen short of expected sales and will be bringing back microtransactions. I'm sorry, every time I read that, it's so contradictory. It's so counterproductive. Oh. The Wall Street Journal reports EA's latest Battlefront game sold 9 million copies, which falls 1 million short of the company's 10 million sales projection. While it's reportedly expected between 1 and 3 million more units will sell by the end of fiscal 2018, these sales still put the sequel behind its predecessor, which had hit 14 million by the end of fiscal 2016, March 31st, 2016, after a late 2015 release. Okay, I also want to bring this up. How bad is it that you can't sell something that has Star Wars connected to it? Come on. Look, I don't even like I'm not a huge fan of the new Star Wars films. I mean, they're okay. They aren't bad. But I mean, my problem with 7 was they just rehashed episode 4 in a new, basically retelling the story of 4. Hell, it even had them destroying another freaking Death Star. Call the Planet Destroyer, what you want. It was another Death Star. Come on. And then 8 was, there was so much just slapstick comedy in like the first half. It was a Disney film. And then it got into Star Wars in the second half. I like how they did the Luke Skywalker looking at the suns before it disappeared. It was a really cool scene. But I mean, come on. How do you not even sell something that's Star Wars on its title? Ugh. Although I will say, I personally don't even think the first Battlefront was that good. I think that they sold that again because it was Star Wars. It was bringing back the Star Wars Battlefront games from I think they were pre-2010. I think 2 was 2006. I could be wrong, but I mean I remember playing those a long time ago. I loved them, but I didn't enjoy the new Battlefront, and I'm not surprised that they're not meeting sales. It's one of those that I'm not surprised that they're not meeting sales projections for this new one, especially after the beta got poo-pooed on because everybody found out that they were doing the loot box sort of progression model, and that was such a terrible idea. Ugh. All right, let's keep going with the article. WSJ also shares that EA's financial chief Blake Jorgensen says microtransactions, which were pulled after the game's release, yeah, because I believe you were saying you were trying to make them more balanced, will make a return in the next few months. EA had indicated at the time of their removal that microtransactions would eventually return to the game. True, but you'd think at this point you're saying, okay, we're not meeting sales numbers, and people really hated that idea. So then you decide, let's do it anyways. It seems like a bad business decision. It's one of those, I'm not saying that they're not allowed to do it, but at the same time, I think you're dumb. Jorgensen says, and I quote, "We'll do it when we think it's ready." It's not, and reportedly blames the missed sales projections on the controversy surrounding the loot crates. God damn it, that's not why! Which also led to U.S. legislators wanting to limit loot box sales, and some countries like UK and New Zealand making decisions about whether or not they constitute gambling. First off, you want my opinions on the loot box crap, check last week's show. I do almost a full, probably 30 minutes on it. My overall view is I don't want the government getting involved in what companies can do in this sense, because I don't think it's gambling. I don't think it's predatory. It's something that companies can do, and I think if done right, I don't mind it, like what PUBG does. I don't think the way they do loot boxes is poor. I think it's perfectly fine, because it's cosmetic items, it's this, that, the other thing. But but kind of bringing it back into this topic, I don't think it's that microtransactions and loot boxes. It's the controversy surrounding those actual items, because I think there's a legitimate conversation to be had between what exactly should companies do with loot boxes and shouldn't they do with loot boxes. And again, like I said, it's just I don't want the government making that decision. I want companies to listen to gamers, and gamers to actually have a realistic conversation, as opposed to going, so many people I know just say, no, you don't have them at all. Or people, it goes along with people hating like day one DLC and this, and it's one of those, they're like, well, why wasn't it in the game anyways? I'm like, well, because the company's trying to make money. And it's, oh, well, they shouldn't. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, but they're a company. Their goal is to make money. This is something that I always bring up. This is the problem whenever you mix, whenever you start to mix art and business. It's just something you have to freaking deal with. And if you don't want it, guess what? Don't buy it. And those of us who do want the DLC and buy it, don't come at us, because sorry, I'm getting off topic. I'll try and focus in on this particularly. It's not the controversy surrounding loot crates. What I think it's a controversy surrounding what you're doing with loot crates, because the problem is when you have loot crates that drop items, kind of like PUBG, but PUBG is all cosmetic. You're dropping items that actually affect gameplay. Now, a majority of your progression in multiplayer is surrounded by what drops you get in the loot crates. And if you can now buy loot crates, you can almost completely increase your progression. Now, I've listened to people say, oh, well, I haven't spent any money on this, and I think it was Brian Altano, also of IGN. I usually like him, but I really disagree with what he said in this. It's just, it doesn't feel right to me when you connect progression in a game, progression in a multiplayer game, let me put it that way, progression in a multiplayer game to something that you can pay for. If you want to do it in single player, I don't care. It's single player. I don't have to play it in my game. You can play it in your game. We get into some gray area when we do what Shadow of War did, but again, I'm getting off track a little bit here. If you're having trouble following me, tell me in the comments, and as always, I'll try and bullet point what I'm trying to say here. I guess my entire point, if I can kind of focus in on one thing here, is that the problem around it is you connect progression to your loot box drops. Okay, already I'm not a fan of it, But if you connect it to your loot box drops and it's all based on achievement in the game, you get some sort of achievement, so you get a box drop, and now you have these items inside the box. Okay, fine. But as soon as you add the microtransaction aspect of it to where I can buy loot boxes and just start getting all these drops, that's where it starts getting bad, especially in the sense that this is a multiplayer. This is primarily a multiplayer game with some single player content. So that's the issue that I have, and so that's why I think some sales projections, especially when they found out the microtransaction and everything, and that it was all loot box based progression from the beta. Hopefully that made sense to everyone, and you didn't get lost in my wherever the hell I was going. Star Wars Battlefront 2 has seen a fair share of changes since its release, including the speeding up of the progression system, which is set to see even more changes coming in March. Well, again, yeah, okay. I've pretty much given out my opinions here in the issue. It kind of makes me laugh that it's EA, that I still like some of what EA does, but at the same time, I think that company as a whole really tries to shoot it's like it's trying to shoot itself in the foot. Ugh. Though I guess moving on, we have another story by EA, if we can get the page to load. There we go. EA confirms new Battlefield coming in 2018, Anthem officially coming in 2019. I believe we talked about this last week, that Anthem has been delayed. Article Jonathan Dornbush, IGN, and article reads, Electronic Arts has confirmed previous reports that BioWare's upcoming game Anthem has been delayed to 2019, and in its place, a new Battlefield game will debut this fall. Okay, I'm actually for this. I'm cool with that. EA officially confirmed Anthem will release in Q1 2019 or Q4 of its 2019 year. Oh, shit. Sorry, everything's bugging out right now. According to its fiscal year, during the company's Q3 earnings call. God damn it! I'll try and get through this article, and then I'll do something. I don't know exactly how I'm gonna get all this to work, but we'll figure something out. EA officially confirmed company's Q3 earnings call today. However, EA denied to the Wall Street Journal that the delay was due to the game's development being behind schedule, as reported in a previous Kotaku piece. Instead, the 2019 release is, according to WSJ, a factor of EA's decision to release a new Battlefield game this October. Bullshit. As a result, the company's executives believe Anthem as a new IP would fare better commercially in a quieter quarter than the busy fall window. Yeah, that's not surprising. That's when although saying like the first or second quarter of a year, and I'm not speaking fiscally, I'm speaking of the actual year, is quieter, I don't think is necessarily true. I mean, especially after what Dying Light did, when it really kind of made that first quarter start to be kind of like the quarter of new releases. So that's when companies are shoving out stuff. I'm looking at like what I have planned for this month. I have, I think, 6-7 games planned that I'm starting, the new games that I'm starting this month. So saying that if it's a quieter first quarter, I don't think is accurate. And again, I also just saying, oh well, it's not that the game's behind schedule. I think we're pushing it back. I don't 100% believe that. I think the game is behind, and that's what really put. Otherwise, I think you would have said that back when this news kind of first leaked. I keep thinking that what they're doing with Anthem is that there's gonna be a giant hitch in Anthem, and it's not gonna be what they're promising or what people are hoping for. I hope for BioWare that it does well, because I like BioWare, I like the company, I like their games, but I have this sinking feeling that it's not gonna do well. I have this, you know what I mean? It's just in that bottom of my stomach. Let's see here, and I quote, "It's not a delay. EA's CFO Blake Jorgensen told the Wall Street Journal, "People are trying to create a story," end quote. And while Anthem had previously not been given an exact release date, initial reveal plans had pegged the game for a fall 2018 release. Even before Anthem's official debut at E3 2017, a new BioWare IP had been confirmed for a release before March 2018, until it had been pushed back to the 2019 fiscal year, which ends on March 31st, 2019. EA then officially debuted Anthem at both its own EA Play press conference, while new details were then revealed at Microsoft's E3 2017 press conference, and recently a new report examined how BioWare has doubled its efforts to deliver on Anthem. The last Battlefield, meanwhile, debuted in 2016 with the WW1 set Battlefield 1. Details for the title's newest DLC, Battlefield 1 Apocalypse, were recently revealed. At the time of its release, IGN's Battlefield 1 review said the crude, archaic charm of World War I's weaponry lends unique personality to Battlefield's already strong first-person shooting, end quote. No details are currently available about what this new Battlefield setting or focus will be. I'm not going to speculate on that. Again, I've pretty much said everything that I want to say, especially about Anthem. I have the sinking feeling that Anthem is going to just kind of fizzle. That's going to fizzle. I don't think it's going to be. Again, I think I talked about this in one of my recent Assassin's Creed Origins videos. If it's not out already, it'll be coming out in the next day or so. But I feel like the market's actually kind of getting saturated with some of these kind of these social environment games. I don't fully know the best way to talk about the best way to classify them. These kind of like pseudo MMOs, stuff like Destiny, stuff like the Division, the Crew, all the stuff. Skull and Bones. Ubisoft is working on a pirate-based one. I think the market's going to start getting saturated by these, and I don't think these games can exist with that much proliferation of this kind of genre. And especially, I don't like seeing these studios like BioWare or these certain studios try and like shoehorn ideas into these kind of games because they think it's gonna be popular. I think they're thinking this genre is so much more open than I actually think it is, and I think there's going to be a massive problem with this and then with these kind of games in the next couple of years, in my opinion. Just because I think too many of them exist. It's kind of like MMOs. I think after a while, there's not going to be enough people who are interested in playing them to make them profitable, and then they just wasted all this money on games that are just going to be around for about a year and a half, and then just die. So that's my stance. All right, moving on. If everything will load, and if God damn, again, everything's all being all goofy. Yakuza 6, The Song of Life, delayed to April. Demo coming February 27th. Maybe we'll play that demo. I'm not sure. Article Shibana RF IGN. Yakuza 6, The Song of Life has been delayed. The news came in a tweet by the Yakuza game account, which posted a statement announcing the new release date for April 17. Yakuza 6, The Song of Life was previously slated to launch on March 20th. The delay will give the studio, and I quote, more time to line things up for launch, and was described as a tough business decision the studio didn't make lightly. Before then, players will be able to go hands-on with Yakuza 6, The Song of Life on February 27th, when a demo will be made available. The save data can be transferred over to the full version at launch. New plans were also teased for the coming weeks, so stay tuned to IGN for more Yakuza, blah, 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 stuff like that. All in all, I'll probably play the game. I'm not sure if I'll play it on channel, because my current Yakuza playthroughs aren't getting super big views. I'm playing them just because, I'm still playing them. I might play Yakuza 2 Kiwami when it comes out, but with 6, I might not play 6 just because I don't have 3, 4, 5. If I can find a way to play 3, 4, 5, maybe I'll play the entire series somewhere down the road. But all in all, I mean, I'm excited just because I really like Yakuza. I like the franchise. I like Kiryu. All that. Oh, it's in Hiroshima. Interesting. Yeah, that's really all I have to say. I don't really have much to say. I just kind of bringing up this delay because we're kind of coming into our next, I guess, big story. Actually, you know what? This was a mistake of mine. I actually meant to talk about this right after Battlefield, or the Battlefront story. So I guess we won't kind of segue into the next big. I'm trying to think what to call it. The next big delay. Actually, we'll go with this. That Respawn's Star Wars game could be released by March 2020. EA unsure when Battlefront 3 will be released. Yeah, especially because as we just read, Battlefront 2 not doing super hot. Is that trailer running? Stop it. You know what I mean? That'll slow things down. Let's just stop. Okay, there we go. Sorry. Got too much crap running. By Jonathan Dornbush, IGN. Though EA hasn't announced definitive plans for the future of its Star Wars games and their release, the company's executives offered some idea when players might expect Respawn's upcoming action game, as well as the next Star Wars Battlefront sequel. Speaking during today's EA Q3 2018 earnings call, EA CEO Andrew Wilson and CFO Blake Jorgensen discussed the future of the company's Star Wars games, specifically in regard to Respawn's already announced Star Wars game. Jorgensen said, while EA has, and I quote, not announced our products for fiscal year 2020 yet, Respawn's title most likely will drop in fiscal 20 versus another Star Wars Battlefront, end quote. Fiscal years are offset from the calendar year. Fiscal year 2020 would not kick in until April 1st, 2019, with an end on March 31st, 2020. That fiscal year would be the time frame EA is projecting, though not necessarily defining as exactly when Respawn's Star Wars title will be released. Anybody out there who understands fiscal years, explain to me why fiscal year and calendar year are offset. If anybody can tell me, I'm interested. I've never heard a reason for it. All right, let's go. According to Jorgensen, the company hasn't, and I quote, decided timing for the next Battlefront yet, which would imply, despite the bumpy road leading up to Star Wars Battlefront 2's launch, the company is moving ahead with that specific franchise with the Star Wars universe. EA first confirmed Respawn's work on a Star Wars game back in 2016. However, little else has been revealed about the game since then. Late last year, EA acquired Respawn, which is also working on a new Titanfall game. Oh, God. For our thoughts on Respawn's purchase, check out blah, 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 blah. EA originally planned to release Visceral and Amy Hennig's Star Wars game in the fiscal year 19. However, following the closure of Visceral and EA Vancouver's taking over the responsibility on the title, the game was delayed out of its project launch window. Should the next Star Wars Battlefront sequel not come until after Respawn's title, that means the company may not have a flagship Star Wars entry for fiscal year 2019. So, EA is continuing to update Star Wars Battlefront 2 with new content, EA, all that stuff. Why do you need a flagship Star Wars game in 2019? I don't get what everybody needs everything with Star Wars. Look, I like the franchise. I like the movies. I just don't. Right there, I think that they don't have a game for the 2019 fiscal year. I think that just goes to show that we're just going to shoehorn ideas into Star Wars and make money off of the Star Wars brand. That's just it's lazy to me. It bugs me. I don't like it. Also, I'm waiting for a new Star Wars RPG, not the MMO, Old Republic. I want another like KOTOR, which I thought a company was working on. Maybe it's the one by Visceral, but I could be totally wrong on that. Because I know Amy Hennig's is an action game similar to like what Uncharted is, but with Star Wars, which I think could work. I think it'll be interesting. But all in all, I want another. I want another Star Wars RPG. That's what I'm really looking to. But everything, it's all big shooters, and again, it's like I said, I find it weird that they won't have one for the upcoming fiscal year. So it's weird to me. Okay, now moving on to our final article in this chunk before we get into our next kind of trailer YouTube video, and this was big news, which actually prompted me to going, well, it's starting. Red Dead Redemption 2 isn't coming out until 2020. That's it's a joke, but who the hell knows with Rockstar? Don't get me wrong, I love Rockstar. I think that they'll keep pushing a game back until it's ready, which is a good thing because I fully trust the company. But at the same time, it makes me laugh that we're going to keep getting teased and that release date's just going to keep getting rolled back and rolled back. But hopefully it'll still be out this year because I really want to play it. I love cowboys and, you know, like I love cowboys and all of that time period, all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be really fun. I'll if I can find it, I'll actually wear a cowboy hat while I won't do a face cam because I don't want to buy a webcam, but I'll actually wear a cowboy hat when I play Red Dead 2. I'll actually read the title of the article. Red Dead Redemption 2 delayed till October. IGN, Joe Screbbles, like I said. Article reads, Red Dead Redemption 2 has been delayed once more, but Rockstar has announced a specific release date of October 26th. In a statement on Rockstar Newswire, a representative wrote, and I quote, "We are excited to announce that Red Dead Redemption 2 will be released on October 26th, 2018. We apologize to everyone disappointed by this delay. While we had hoped to have the game out sooner, we require a little extra time for polish. We sincerely thank you for your patience and hope that when you get to play the game, you will agree the wait will have been worth it. In the meantime, please click on the screenshots for the game. We look forward to sharing a lot more information with you in the coming weeks." End quote. Rockstar released several new screenshots along with the announcement. See them all. Well, we're checking them out. Let's see. There we go. Okay. I like the lighting that they're kind of, you know, the bugs. It's, all that. It's, again, I like the detail, the wood splintering and everything. This kind of looks like it's maybe we're robbing something, we're burning down somebody's like maybe a barn or something. I'm trying to remember. I know the basic outline of the story. I just can't remember who the main character is, and it ties into Marston's story a little bit, but I can't remember exactly how it all worked. There. I like the snow. I like the idea of playing in the snow. And again, I love the cowboy look. Just the horse, the hats, everything. Old westerns. I love that. I love those movies. So yeah, revolvers. And again, big kind of a gun battle sort of shootout. I really hope we can do dual wielding like revolver, or like there's, how to put it. I'm kind of hoping that there is some sort of like cinema, kind of like a bullet time thing. We had this in the first game where you could set those shots, you know, like set like I think up to 6 shots, and then he'd fan the, you know, Marston would fan the hammer and all the shots like that. Yeah, I kind of hope that we could get like maybe like a cinematic thing where we could pick out targets and you just pull out, you know, 2 pistols and do something like this, and we just kind of get like a little cutscene of him just popping out shots like this. I think it would be cool. That's interesting. Maybe look at a possible love interest for the main character. Again, at one time I knew his name. I can't remember it off the top of my head. People will probably yell at me and put in the comments his name. Again, I like the idea of playing more in the mountains. Like that'll be more of a thing. I also like the difference in the color palette. We're seeing a lot more greens in this one than I think we did in the last one. It's just I like color in the games. It's something that I thought with Assassin's Creed Origins. I thought that was going to be a big problem when it's Egypt. I was expecting a lot of like yellows and dark color, like browns and yellows and everything, you know, with the sand and the stone and all that stuff. But instead, really, what we got with that game was you know, the color of the water, underwater. You know, sometimes had that greenish tint to it. You know, just the trees. That game had a beautiful color palette, and I really hope that we're going to see something similar with Red Dead 2. And again, I'll say kind of like I'll go back to my comment from the first shot. I really like the lighting and just the coming through the trees like that. So here, this is the game's second delay, and it was initially scheduled for fall 2017, then moved back to spring 2018. We haven't seen a great deal from the game outside of its 2 trailers. But we know it will be a prequel, star a new protagonist called Arthur Morgan. There we go. Now we have the title. And will more than likely feature a GTA Online-style multiplayer mode called Red Dead Online. Well, I mean, we saw something similar to that in the first Red Dead. Maybe not exactly, but there's a lot more that we can make educated guesses at. Check out our theories based on this game's second trailer, for instance. In an interesting turn, there's also a chance that the game will feature an early New Bordeaux, the setting of Mafia 3, kind of connecting the worlds a little bit. It's unlikely Rockstar will announce any further detail on what the extra polish entails, but we'll have the news for you if and when we find out. Yeah, that's kind of Rockstar. I think we've seen these. Yeah, we've seen these shots before. Again, I like the color. I like the forest, like the color palettes. Like that. Yeah, that's kind of how Rockstar is. I mean, everybody knows this. They keep things very tight to the chest. Kind of like CD Projekt Red. I think they kind of keep everything really tight to the chest until right before they're going to start releasing their titles and releasing their games. And I think that's a good move for the company. So let's move on to to the end of the second block with this announced trailer for TERA. I think it's an MMO RPG with, as it says, true action content. It's coming to the PS4. Let's take a gander. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. Actually, looks pretty good. I mean, it looks like your typical like MMO sort of RPG. I'm sure I'm gonna get people just really hating on me for this, for what I'm about to say, but it really to me looks so much like World of Warcraft. Like I said, I'm sure I'm gonna get people. But yeah, I think it's a neat trailer. It looks cool. I might give it a try. Who knows? We'll see when it comes out. We don't have a full release date, but that's coming soon. Like I said, we got that. I really don't have much to say about it other than just it looked cool. So I thought let's take a look at it, and somebody out there might find it interesting. And I kind of like to end my blocks with. I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing this style where I just pull out a lot of articles, kind of like this, maybe some small. I don't know, and just talk about a bunch of different stuff and kind of separate it out with maybe some trailers or whatever. But hope you enjoyed that. I'm gonna, like I said, stand up, stretch my legs and whatnot before we get into the next chunk of articles. All right, everyone, into our third chunk of articles here. We have PUBG reportedly rakes in $712 million in 8 months. Article Shabana RF IGN. Article reads, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds has seen massive success since its early release in March 2017 and has amassed 4 million players on Xbox One since it came to console in December. And in the space of 8 months, it's raked in $712 million in revenue, according to a new report. The title has surpassed Overwatch and CSGO sales, earning almost the sum of the two games' revenue combined, according to analytics from SuperData's 2017 Year in Review report via VG 247. Elsewhere, the report states that Overwatch brought in $382 million, while CSGO earned $341, and 12% of all revenue generated on PC platform was pulled in from PUBG. The report has a further breakdown on this. If you want to follow my link to the article, you can then check it out right there. Yeah, not much to say other than just good job, PUBG. It's kind of why I included this article, just because holy hell, that's a lot in 8 months. I got to give them credit. I kind of want to ask them if they thought that did they think that this was going to be such a phenomena when they came out with this idea of, hey, let's do this like 100-man battle royale thing in this big area. I mean, we're basically doing like the Hunger Games, or well, I guess a better comparison, not the Hunger Games, but with Battle Royale, the Japanese. That book is phenomenal. If anybody hasn't read it, really like the book. The movie's okay. It's not a very good movie, and then the sequel's really pretty shitty, if you ask me. But I really like the book. I'm off track. But yeah, all in all, I kind of want to ask them if they thought that this was going to be such a big phenomenon. And I mean, how we're seeing games kind of take a similar idea. Fortnite is doing something similar. Even though I don't really play Fortnite. Really, I haven't played PUBG. I think it's my internet connection. It's just so crappy. But yeah, like I said, I'll actually make the point. Good job to PUBG for this achievement. We're going to kind of keep talking about sales now, coming up into this next article, is that the Nintendo Switch has officially outsold the Wii U. I don't want to say because that's an accomplishment, because the Wii U kind of flopped, but it is. I think it's important to mention that the Switch hasn't been out for even a full year yet. Article Shabana Arif, once more, IGN. Article reads, Nintendo's latest console has already outsold the Wii U, and in less than a year shifting over 14 million units since its March 2017 launch, compared to the Wii U's 13.5 million lifetime sales. The company's financials are a rousing tale of the Switch's success, which is the fastest selling home console in US history, and managed to sell a whopping 7.23 million units in the last quarter alone, reaching 14.86 million consoles sold at the end of December. Nintendo has subsequently tweaked its forecast for the financial year ending in March, with a 33.3% greater operating profit of 160 billion yen, that's 1.47 billion US dollars, from 1.02 trillion yen, which is $9.38 billion in revenue. So here, and I quote, Switch sales during the holiday season were stronger than expected in Japan, the United States, and Europe, said Nintendo President Tatsumi Kimishima at an earnings report briefing the BBC reports. Thanks to the high attachment rate, the Switch has also had stellar software sales. The best-selling Nintendo games are, shocking, Super Mario Odyssey, over 9 million copies. That's like the Nintendo version of Star Wars. You know, you attach Mario, you're going to do an old school platforming Mario game. Yeah, no shit, that thing's going to sell super well. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, 7.33 million copies sold, and number 3, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, 6.7 million sold. Nintendo has said they expect sales of the Switch to reach 20 million this year. Yeah, it would not surprise me. I think the Switch, again, every time I talk about how well the Switch is selling, I really don't have much to say about each of these articles individually, but I gotta say, from everything that I was seeing from beforehand from this game, or from this console, I did not expect it to be anywhere near as good as it was. And I have one myself. I really like the console. I'm not gonna lie. I have to eat some crow here and say that this console is very well made. It's very well done. And congratulations once more to Nintendo. I'm gonna keep saying it. Just well done. I get all these Nintendo articles kind of lined up here. Nintendo Switch Online paid service to launch in September 2018. Jonathan Dornbush, IGN. Article reads, Nintendo Switch's online service will be released in September of this year, Nintendo of America has revealed. In a tweet, Nintendo has simply revealed the service, seemingly titled Nintendo Switch Online, will debut in September, though no specific date or other service details were provided. A hashtag Nintendo Switch Online will launch in September 2018. Twitter, blah, 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 blah. Nintendo of America, at Nintendo of America, February 1st, 2018. Originally expected to launch in 2017, Nintendo delayed the online paid service into this year. Last June, at the time, Nintendo detailed pricing $19.99 for a yearly subscription. Wow, that's not bad. About $20 for a yearly subscription. That's damn good. and the users would have access to a classic game selection of Nintendo games like Super Mario Bros. 3 and Balloon Fight. The official website for this service still lists all of these services in addition to the new launch date. The classic game selection and exclusive eShop deals will be available only to subscribers of the paid service. Okay, so it's kind of, it reminds me, this sort of seems like a fusion between like PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live, whatever. Kind of like a fusion between that and PlayStation has like those classic, you can buy PS2 games, and I'm trying to think what it's called. It's not coming to me right now. PlayStation Now, I think, is what it is. So it kind of seems like a hybrid of those, but for a $20 for a yearly subscription. Wow. That's a free... I'd have to look more into it, but I mean, right now, that seems like a screaming deal. But again, I think that's one big thing that Nintendo's doing. I think they're coming up with great deals, and just... in addition to yearly service amount, the paid online service will cost $3.99 or $4 US for a 1-month membership, $7.99 US for a 3-month. Jesus Christ. Yeah, man, for $20, man. Okay, this is a great service. Like I said, I'll finish this up real quick. Until its launch, users of the Switch Online app for mobile and online multiplayer and functionality in Switch games will remain free to all Switch owners. Wait, until its launch usage of... Okay. Nintendo has continued to update and address issues on its mobile app, which is required for voice chat in games. Earlier, Nintendo revealed the Switch's sales for so far surpassed the lifetime sales of Wii U. Okay, so this is a little bit more interesting. I don't know much about the online mobile app because I didn't even know that really that was a thing. But so multiplayer functionality right now for Switch games is free. But if I'm reading this correctly, until its launch. So post launch, it won't be free unless you. Okay, so yeah, it's a lot like PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live. But I mean, hell, for $20 plus you get the classic game selection. That's a screaming deal compared to what PlayStation does. Because I mean, what for a full year is what, $60 for PlayStation Plus. Same with Xbox Live. I think for a full year for both of them is $60. It's the price of a new game. This is $20. Like, cripes, that's a good deal. I think Nintendo so far with what they're doing with the Switch, they're doing everything right. Exactly what I think they needed to do with this platform. And again, I'll say, like I said last article, hats off to them. I know this is kind of moving into some. Into another kind of area of entertainment, but Nintendo officially partnering with Illumination on Mario movie. Article Alex Osborne, IGN. Nintendo has officially announced it's partnering with Illumination Entertainment to develop a movie starring Mario. The film will be co-produced by Nintendo representatives director Shigeru God damn it, I can't pronounce names. Shigeru Miyamoto, hopefully that's somewhat correct, and Illumination founder and CEO Chris Meledandri. There we go. Fucking shit. Sorry, I'm like maybe making you think I have Tourette's or something right now. Universal Pictures and Nintendo are co-financing the project, and Universal Pictures will handle the film's theatrical distribution worldwide. News of the announcement follows reports this past November that Nintendo was close to signing a deal with the studio behind Despicable Me, Minions, and Sing to produce an animated Super Mario Bros. Movie. In 2016, Nintendo President Tatsumi Kimishima announced the company's plans to re-enter the film business with a focus on animation. A couple years prior, leaked emails revealed Sony Pictures was previously in negotiations with Nintendo to make a film starring the beloved platforming plumber. This wasn't the only big news from Nintendo today, as the company also says Mario Kart game for mobile when the Switch is paid online. Not surprising that Nintendo and Sony wouldn't have some sort of connection, especially after what happened between PlayStation and Nintendo or whatever. I'm not sure if there's still any bad blood there, but wouldn't surprise me. But all in all, I don't have much to say about this. I say this to the people who actually really care. Would I go see an animated Mario movie? Probably not. But that's just me. It doesn't interest me. Yet at the same time, though, I guess I went to see the Ratchet and Clank movie. I still liked it, actually. I fairly enjoyed that. But yeah, that's just like I said, this was pretty much just one of those that I wanted to bring up again. Just kind of good things for Nintendo. Keep an eye on. I have no doubt that it'll probably do well. I mean, it's got, again, it's like I said earlier, Mario is like the Star Wars for Nintendo. It's hard to attach Mario to something and not have it sell well. So, all right, now moving on to something that I think is, I'm a horrible person, so I get some humor out of this. I mean, this is a bad thing, but this is still pretty this is kind of funny. Article, Eddie Makuch, GameSpot. Man strikes roommate with Zelda sword and then a kitchen knife. He gets arrested. I love how they have to add comma gets arrested. That's okay. An Alaska man. I'm sorry. Look, a man stabs him with a kitchen knife is one thing, but he originally strikes him with a Zelda sword. That's what makes it funny. I want that stated. That's the part that makes it funny. Not that he got attacked him with a kitchen knife. That's bad. Don't know. When he hit him with a Zelda sword, that's kind of funny. An Alaska man hit his roommate with a replica Legend of Zelda Master Sword before later attacking this person with a kitchen knife, police say. According to Anchorage Daily News, 22-year-old Jeremy Tazrick was arrested and charged with 4th-degree assault and reckless endangerment. Anchorage police arrived on the scene at an apartment near the University of Alaska Anchorage campus to find a, and I quote, broken television, a bloody napkin, a knife on a table, and a bent sword on the floor, end quote. Jesus. I know, it's not funny, but God, just the fact that they mentioned a bent sword. Oh my God. The police then found a person identified in an official court document as TP on a nearby bike trail with a stab wound. The person was taken to the hospital with a puncture wound on his ribs. Here's how Anchorage Daily News summed up the fracas via Kotaku. Oh God, that's a word. Yeah, again, like I said, it's not funny that the guy was stabbed. This Zelda sword is the entire comedic thing to me. According to Tazrick and witnesses, it said TP started to push a roommate and flipped her onto the armrest of a chair. Another roommate tried to push TP away, and TP punched that person. When Tazrick and his fiancée, who was holding their baby, stepped in, TP punched both of them too. Cripes. And I quote, Tazrick's fiancé asked someone to call police. Tazrick grabbed a replica sword from The Legend of Zelda off the wall and tried using its sheath to hit TP. The document said after TP ran at him, Tazrick hit TP multiple times with the sword, according to the court document. Oh, God. The document then explains that with the fight escalating, Tazrick ran into the kitchen and grabbed a knife. After TP advanced on Tazrick stuck out at TP at least twice, hitting TP with the knife. According to the document, the edges of the sword were not sharp, but the tip was sharp, end quote. Again, like I said, what the fuck? I don't get what... I'm trying to go through this again. Sorry, I'm just making sure I read this. Okay, it sounds like this was defense. Maybe overly aggressive. I mean, yeah, was stabbing him necessarily correct? I still think that the hitting him with the sword was wrong. I'm just gonna say, in this case, I don't think anyone is right. I think we should all feel bad about this entire situation. I just can't believe that a freaking Zelda sword. That's what. God damn it. Ugh. Again, I know I shouldn't find humor in this, but if I don't find humor in it somewhere, I'll cry. But all in all, that's what happened. If you got some sort of enjoyment out of this, thank you for not making me not feel alone. If you're going, why are you finding any of this funny? Again, it's I can find humor in a lot of really messed up places, so it is what it is. Moving on to the last thing in this block, we're going to take a look at the 7 Deadly Sins gameplay trailer. And 7 Deadly Sins, if you know the manga, Nanatsu no Taizai, I think is how it's pronounced. It's the 7 Deadly Sins was the name when it got made into the anime was put up. It's on Netflix. It's a good anime if you ask me. It's well done animation. I like the characters, everything. I actually recently made the decision because I really haven't played any like anime or anything like that games on the channel. It kind of interested me, so I think this comes out next week on the 9th. I'll play it on I'm gonna be playing it on the channel, at least the story mode. Let's check this out, or the adventure mode if I. I like the music. I know exactly the scene that was from. I loved that scene. I really dig this music. I really hope there's an English voice track. Oh my god, you get to fight with the pig. Oh, that's gonna be fun. Yeah, again, I find it interesting. I like Nanatsu no Taizai. I like the manga. I think it's got really fun characters. The combat, from what we were seeing, reminds me a lot of the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm games, which I actually thought the combat in those were done well. Personally, I would like to see go back for some of these games. Kind of go back to what the original Naruto Ultimate Ninja games did, what Dragon Ball Z Budokai did, where they were kind of more side, 2D, kind of like side scrolling, or what the new Dragon Ball Z game, Dragon Ball Fighters, or whatever it's exactly called, something like that. I'd like to see us go back to that. But all in all, I think this is going to be a really kind of a neat game. Either it's going to be a really cool game, or it's going to be something that's complete and utter ass. But either way, we're going to play it on the channel. We'll play it once more on the 9th. And hopefully we'll have some fun with it. So moving on, we'll go into our last chunk of articles. Like I said, but like usual, I'm going to stand up, take a small break. All right, guys, let's kind of sprint to the end here. To kick off our final block, we're just gonna go with, I think Hideo Kojima is trying to put me into some sort of coma, or I don't know, get me to have no clue what game he is making. Article Shibana RFIGN, Death Stranding includes elements of social media. What the fuck? My head hurts. Death Stranding is the next game from Hideo Kojima, and even though he's shared a few details of the story, we're still wrapping our heads around the concept. Norman Reedus has given us a few more tidbits about the theme and topics touched on. Really? He's given us a few details about the story? I mean, I've seen stuff that looks like maybe we're in an alternate dimension. Maybe we're on a different planet. Here's all this weird technology. Here's these strands connecting people. Here's this weird baby that's all over the place that I have no freaking clue what's happening. Sometimes I don't even think we're looking at the same freaking game. I love Hideo Kojima. The man is a genius. But man, I would like to see what's inside that guy's head. And just like what is his thought process? Like, does he just, I mean, like, how does he do this? Like, is it just like he's like, you know what, I can make something super crazy because it's what I'm known for? Or does, like, his head just work this way, that he just comes up with these just things that seem absolutely insane to everyone else, but to him are like and again, not trying to bag on Kojima. The man is a freaking genius. I'm just saying, like, I want to. It's like I want to see what's inside his head. Is it weird because he's like, this is kind of my niche and what I'm known for, and I can just do this? Or does his head just do it this way? Like, does he have to try to do it this way? Or is this like his first idea? Like, that's, I want to look into Kojima's process, just because, I mean, the guy is such an interesting individual. As spotted by Games Radar, Reedus was asked about Death Stranding during an interview on the B&H Photography podcast, touching on the thematic points of Kojima's new game. Excuse me. And I quote, the concept is so mind-blowing because it's not like kill everybody and win the game. It's a connecting thing. It's like the opposite, he explained. What? It's so... yeah. It's so ahead of its time, and there's elements of social media in it. And the idea is that so many games and so many parts of millennial culture are being alone in a room, and you lose contact, physical contact with people. This is after that and the reestablishing of that physical contact. It's super, super interesting. End quote. My head hurts. Oh my God. He also shared details of his motion capture experience, saying, and I quote, when I met Kojima, I was like, oh, so they'll pay me. And they're like, no, they are you. Oh, so they'll play me, and they're like, no, they are you. So as we're doing this motion game, this is like some, just, I don't know, my head hurts. So as we're doing this motion capture stuff, they want me to be Norman. They're all standing, and if I scratched my head a certain way, they go, oh, do that, and we'll capture it. By the end of the day, you're kind of not moving, because if I keep moving, we're going to keep filming, and it's all great, but we could go on forever. There are plenty of Death Stranding theories swirling around about what the game may be about, and Mads Mikkelsen's recent comments to IGN on the dualistic nature of Kojima's characters has offered many intrigue about what's on the way. God, just I love Kojima. I love it. I love his mind. It's just I like I said, I want to go inside of his head and understand what goes on in there. So, like I said, it's my big question. Like, does he go crazy? Like, he tries to go crazy because that's his thing, or is this just like how his head works? Like that, I'm so interested. I'd love to know that someday. These last couple articles are all kind of going to be just kind of quick headers. Let's see here. Stop that. Maybe we can. There we go. Burnout developer may be working on open world game with melee-based combat. Article Hope Corrigan, IGN. It may be a shtick shift. Funny. Criterion, the developers of Burnout, and some recent Need for Speed titles, appeared to be working on a new open-world melee-focused action-adventure game. PC Gamer News reports a job listing on the Criteria website calls for a lead combat designer who is passionate about, and I quote, all types of combat in games, but in particular, I think it would be the correct way to put that, whatever, melee combat. Job listing also drops, and I quote, action and action-adventure games, and physics and physicality in games, as hints as to the new title. Other jobs listed state, and I quote, experience in open-world game production is a plus, and all listings tell Criterion is pushing the boundaries with our own brand new IP, end quote. One of the positions available is a concept art director, so it can be speculated this upcoming mystery game is very early on in development process. In 2016, EA said Criterion's action sports game known as Beyond Cars was still in the works, but whether or not this title is related is unclear. Yeah, like I said, this is going to be a quick hitter. This is just kind of me saying that this is going on, but I'm not very good with the speculating of what companies are going to do. I really like Burnout. I trust that. I think what the studio's going to make is going to be good if they replicate what they can do with Burnout. So I trust the studio, but I have no freaking clue what they're going to be doing. Come on. Okay, this is really interesting to me because Sega publishing brand new narrative IP from Heavy Rain designers Jordan Allman, IGN. Sega has announced that it will publish a brand new narrative-driven IP developed by Quantic Dream Alumni. The publisher will be working with new studio Interior Night, founded in October 2017 by developers whose previous credits include Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, and Wonderbook Book of Spells. I don't know Book of Spells. So I know the other two. I like Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls. This brand new narrative-driven IP will be Interior Night's first game. CEO Carolyn Markle, hopefully that's correct, believes the partnership will help, and I quote, deliver a great narrative experience to existing gamers and to a broader audience. We are very excited to work with Sega on our first narrative game. Sega have demonstrated a strong desire to take risks, innovate, and work collaboratively with studios, end quote. Sega's executive vice president of publishing, John Clark, noted that the deal was part of Sega's desire to, and I quote, launch new franchises and experiences. We're really looking forward to working with Interior Nights as their combined talent and imaginations evolve into a really strong narrative-driven gaming experience, end quote. To keep all that stuff, IGN. Yeah, same thing as the last one. I trust these people. I mean, say what you want about Beyond Two Souls. I personally liked it. I think what threw a lot of people off was the way they told their story, how they didn't tell it in a linear way, how it just kind of kept going back and forth and all this stuff. A lot of people weren't super big fans of it. But I think there was still something there with Beyond Two Souls, and I really liked Heavy Rain. I really liked what they did. I like what Quantic Dreams does, and I like these sort of branching path narrative sort of games. So I think this will be really cool, and really interested to see what they do from here. And again, like the last one, just not a whole hell of a lot to say about it. But let's move on to our final article. We have some idea of the Far Cry 5 DLC. Let's see here. Far Cry 5 DLC includes Vietnam, Mars, and zombie levels. And Far Cry 3. Ooh. Joe Scrabbles, IGN. Far Cry 5 Season Pass DLC contents have been announced. I guarantee you won't have expected it. 3 DLC packs will take players back in time to the Vietnam War, into the future to alien-infested Mars, and across reality to battle zombies. Here's the official description of each one. Hours of Darkness. Players will travel back in time to Vietnam to battle against Viet Cong soldiers, dead living zombies. Players will face hordes of zombies in multiplayer B-movie scenarios. Alrighty then. Or in multiple B-movie scenarios, excuse me. Lost on Mars, players will leave Earth behind to go toe to claws with Martian arachnids. Oh, so it's Starship Troopers. I fucking love that movie. The only one, but I fucking fucking love that movie. And we'll take a look at a trailer for that. I'm so pumped up about this. Alongside the I guess we could watch it here, but I have it lined up on YouTube, so whatever. Alongside the DLC, all season pass players also receive a version of Far Cry 3 on Xbox One and PS4. It's Far Cry 3 Classic Edition, a re-release that includes the game's single-player content on PC. Season pass holders or Far Cry 5 Gold Edition buyer will receive the full version of Far Cry 3. Far Cry 3 Classic Edition will also be released as a standalone download on PS4 and Xbox One 4 weeks after the release of Far Cry 5. It's not clear if this is a remaster or a remake at time of writing. It seems as though Ubisoft was teasing something back in May after all. No pricing has been announced for the season price yet. For a breakdown of all Far Cry 5's bonus material, the announcement, Far Cry 5, get a look below. I'm super pumped. Super pumped. I can't remember when this got delayed back to March, but I can't wait for Far Cry 5. I love the concept. I like that we're coming to America. We're doing this stuff with cults. I like how it's up in the mountains, that kind of area of the U.S. I think that's a beautiful, beautiful country, and I think it really does fit the Far Cry vibe to be up there. These DLCs, and not surprising, Far Cry has always kind of done some weird stuff. If anybody remembers Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, that thing was that was nutty. So I think this stuff is going to be just as weird and interesting. I'm definitely getting the season pass. Like, if it was just these things, I'd really consider. I'd probably do it. But the Far Cry 3 Classic Edition, I think, sold me, because Far Cry 3 was phenomenal. Far Cry 4 was really good, but I think Far Cry 3 blew that one out of the freaking water. Far Cry 3 was so freaking good. Just let's. And if you want to know, we'll watch this. It's like 50 seconds or 30 seconds. They released this on Twitter. I was talking. They released this on Twitter. It's just, oh my god.
Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?
God, I love Voss. I absolutely love Voss. And I like how you also get this 4 weeks before the actual drop happens. And I guess we could watch this on UB Central, but honestly, we also, I think, have a new. Do we have a new story trailer? Is this new? Screw it. Let's check this out. I don't think we've seen this. So we'll load up this, and then we'll call it after this, because I'm getting, my head hurts.
I was chosen by God. I have apostles. I help the blind to see. I save souls. But unlike the chosen one sent before, God will never let you take me.
This world is on the brink.
Don't you understand what we're trying to build?
And now, the collapse is upon us.
We will take what we need.
We will take you, willingly or not.
Begin the reaping!
The cult's stealing our land, kidnapping our friends. This is our home. Your grandfather built this place.
I thought if we could just hang on, Eden's Gate would just go away. But they won't.
They've been waiting for somebody to kick off their goddamn holy war. You need to build up resistance.
Make no treaty with them! And show them no mercy.
If we stick together, cult will never break us.
What God gives, no man can take away.
All right. Of everything that we have release dates, like official release dates for right now, this is my most anticipated. I cannot wait for Far Cry 5. It's just, oh god, like I said, I like the, we're up in Montana. I think it's a beautiful country. It just, then we mix Far Cry 5 and all this. I like the cult leader. See, and also the thing I like about what Far Cry does is they really do. I think Ubisoft does a great job of making villains for these. You know, we had Voss in 3. I don't really remember much from Far Cry 1 and 2, but I think Far Cry as we know it now, you know, with Voss in 3, Pagan Min in 4, and now the head of Eden's Gate, I just... And this is even making me even more interested in this game, because I've been watching The Path on Hulu, a really good show. It's just, I absolutely cannot wait to get my hands on this. I'm gonna leave it at that, because if I don't if I keep talking, I'm gonna go on forever. So guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, as I hope you enjoy all the videos. I'll actually get through some announcements. Like I said, we have plenty of stuff coming up. You know, I got a bunch of games. I think we're doing 7 Deadly Sins, Knights of Britannia this month, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Metal Gear Survive, Bayonetta's 1 and 2 are coming out on the Switch. We'll be playing those. Also playing Fea is coming out this month, playing that on Switch. I might put up a video sometime soon for, it's a Let's Play I've been wanting to do for Operation Darkness. It's an Xbox 360 game. I absolutely love the game. We might take a look at that. I'm not entirely sure if I'll do it. If I'm not, I'm kind of thinking about it. Maybe I'll do it some night when I'm bored and I want something a little different from what I'm playing. Either way, we'll be doing that. I plan on at least finishing up recording and playing of Evil Within 2 in the next couple days. I'm really trying to chunk out some stuff that I currently have active before all this new stuff starts coming out. Anything else? It's obviously the Super Bowl tomorrow. I'm super pumped. I'm a bit, you know, Patriots are playing. I'm a big Pats fan. What I'm actually planning on doing, because I picked up Madden 18 on the cheap not too long ago, I'm actually going to do a full, kind of like my own mock Super Bowl ahead of time. You know, I mean, we had the simulation Madden whatever game that the Pats ended up beat the Eagles, so I'm not surprised to see that happen. But I'm thinking about doing that sometime, and maybe have that first thing in the morning on Sunday. That might be fun. If you know, go check it out if you want to check it out. Trying to think if there's any other like true announcements. There is something that I do want to say. I mentioned this in also one of my other Assassin's Creed videos that haven't been put up yet, but will be up soon. That on the end of this month, on the 28th of this month, and the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of March, I think also maybe the 4th of March, I'm not entirely sure, off the top of my head, I'm going to be traveling with my university's basketball team. It's our conference tournament that, you know, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I think Sunday. That time is our conference basketball tournament. I'm being sent by the radio station that I work at to, you know, call the games for the radio station, and I will be there as long as my university is there. So we might go down, lose the first night, and then I come back the next morning, or I might be without content for 3-4 days just while I'm down there working. So that's just a heads up. I know it's super in advance. I'll probably say something again once we actually get there, but that's all of that. I don't really think I have any more announcements, so I'll just say, as always, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video or enjoy anything I ever do on this channel, always remember to hit me up. Always remember to hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more. Other than that, you want to talk to me, you can always do that in the comments. Feel free, leave me a comment. I'll always do my best to respond in a timely manner. Anything else? If you want to private message me and you don't want to talk in a big open forum, you can do that via Facebook, Twitter, the website, minds.com. Links to all that stuff is way down at the bottom of the description. Links to all my social media. My blog site, my website, whatever, is all my written content. That's reviews and everything. I have one for Rogue Galaxy that I'll try sometime today to get edited and uploaded onto that site. I keep saying this every year. I'm gonna really try my best this year to stay on top of that and get my reviews up there for you guys to read and enjoy if you would like. Other than that, Facebook, Twitter, Minds.com. I'm happy to private, direct message, whatever you want to say with you guys on those and chat and have some fun. But I'll stop talking now. Thanks for watching, everybody. Till next time, I'm AJ Gels, the Gaming Channel. I'm out.